welcome to our Tuesday Thought for the Day. I was just curious about average salaries for different kinds of jobs, and so I went to Google. Of course, Google knows all things, to find out what the average salaries were. And I found that the average salary for a rubbish collector, or a refuge professional, as some like to be called, is just over £10 per hour. The average salary of a cardiologist is £100,000 per year. The average pay for a teacher is £26,000. The average pay of a footballer, professional footballer, is £100,000 per week. And the average pay of a pastor is £2 million. All right, I made that last one up. But you know what? It seems, doesn't it, a little unfair. You know, some work incredibly hard and long hours for relatively little, whereas others do what they love and get paid a mint. I think we're all tuned to feel this sense of injustice. And I think the story that Jesus tells about the vineyard owner proves this point. You know, in Matthew 20, Jesus said that there was a vineyard owner who hired labourers to gather in the harvest. And they got to work. They agreed a wage and did the work they were paid to do. But at the end of the day, there was a need for more labourers because not all of the harvest had been gathered. And so the owner went out and got more labourers and paid them the same wage for much less work. The same? I mean, you can imagine his hearers all whispering, the same? How unfair! To which Jesus replies, why? It's my vineyard, my money. I'm not paying anyone less than what was already agreed. But it does feel unfair, doesn't it? Why should the person who did 1 hour get the same as those who did 10 hours? But Jesus says this, you see evil, I see good. No, we might argue, we're seeing unfairness. No, Jesus says, you are missing the point. Over the last 6 months, I think we've watched some of the poorest paid shoulder the burden of the hardest and at times the most dangerous work. We've also seen some of the richest continue to be paid for not doing anything. Life really isn't fair. Wouldn't it be good if there was some equality? Well, maybe. But this isn't the point of Jesus' parable. God isn't out to treat us fairly. Instead, he's out to be good to us all. Theologian Greg Deloach says this is not a story of fairness. This is a story of goodness. And you know what? We should be relieved. How would you like it if God dealt with you fairly? The owner valued them all, so there was no need to keep score. You know, in the story, there is a little twist, and I love these little twists. You know, normally a manager or a foreman would look after the hired help. But in Jesus' telling, it's the owner who shows up. That's how valued those labourers were. And Jesus wants us to know it's God who shows up for us. Each of us equally valued, no matter what. So yes, the newest convert to church has just as much voice as the person who was born into the church. And yes, the deathbed convert has equal footing to the lifelong saint. This really isn't about you or me or what time we show up for work. This really is about the goodness of God that keeps showing up. Showing up to the leper, to the tax collector, to the Gentiles, to the outsider, to the excluded, to you and to me. Why? Because God is good to the faithful and the faithless. When we understand this, it might change everything. When we shift from simply wanting everything to be fair to what is good, imagine what changes could take place. God is good. It's not about our excellence, our work of high attainment and diligence, but of generous, radical inclusion. God is good to all. Let's meditate on that goodness today. God bless you. in all that you do this week, and see you soon.